What's going on, everybody? This is James Grandmaster Facts Voice, and you're here for another Facts Project review. Today, we're going to be talking about Image Comics' Exquisite Corpses, of course, written by the fabulous James Tynion IV, artwork by Michael Walsh and Jordi Belair, and lettering by Becca Carey. Now, I got the advanced review because this is going to be released in May, but I did get a little bit of a sneak peek. So, to get right into it, this is going to be an event comic through the imprint of Tynion under Image Comics. James Tynion's universe, Michael Walsh, he calls it the Corpse Crew. Basically, a slew of writers and artists who have all gotten together to work particularly on this series. And this first issue is 60 pages. You know, you don't necessarily see that from a comic book. You see that pretty much from a graphic novel going into the beginning. But because this is an event, almost as James Tynion put in the comic itself, in the veins of the Energon universe that Skybound does, or that the Absolute universe that DC has done. But the thing is, what we're getting here, what you know from them, is that you know all those characters. Where this particular book, you're getting all brand new characters, a whole brand new story, themes, setting, and a really good story, which is pretty much going to bring in through this a game. Let's call it a game. And the game is 13 of the wealthiest families in North America, all coming together into a small town. And in this small town, it's Oak Valley, Maine, right? So they choose a small town, and there is a ruling family that gets to rule for 5 years. But within this game, what happens is that they take over a town and they drop in the most dangerous killers, and they grant them one of their the other families. They choose this killer and as a hired hand to wield one of 12 heirloom weapons, and then it's pretty much the last killer standing, to where whichever family wins is the next ruling family and gets to control America or North America for the next 5 years until the game gets reloaded back up again. So when you come to see the beginning of this issue and the review of this issue, of course, you learn about the town. There is a chief of this small town who is just departing and is handed a slew of cash with a new life, new identification, and is to report no knowledge of his former life. And the whole reasoning for this, of him being given a boatload of money, basically like $10 million to just go away, is so all these families can intercept this town, drop their killers in every 5 years on Halloween, this particular town, and then just have their game. Now, the next portion of this reads into a cast of characters almost out of the board game of Clue, to where you see some of the characters. The actual cover showcases one of them. One of the characters in the story is the Fox Killer, a female with reckless abandon, and she's chosen the weapon of the sword. Or somebody like Rascal Randy, who Jersey is selected, my home state. But his weapon is his hands, because there is a maniac in a rabbit costume that just utilizes his big, massive self in this rabbit costume to strangle out his victims. And then it goes through a whole cast of Rhode Island selecting the recluse who's wielding the rope, Connecticut selecting the gamer kid to wield electricity, so on and so forth. So what you see here is kind of like not necessarily like a mystery, but you're looking at how this game is going to get set up, and you're going to understand every single one of these characters and what has brought them to be sort of like the chosen fighter for each of these families going forth, and how this pretty much sets up this entire series. So I was glad to get the Ashcan from Image Comics, and I can tell you right now, as far as the horror genre is concerned, you don't see a lot of event comics. It doesn't necessarily happen that often. So for somebody who has created a universe like Something Is Killing the Children, House of Slaughter, Book of Cutter, you know, to build into the lore of a universe that you've never heard before, but all of a sudden it gets more and more detailed, more and more distinct. I can only appreciate the partnership that Tiny Onion and Image Comics have made in order to make a comic like this happen. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope that you do. Of course, we will be here to check out all of the issues. There's 13 issues going into this series. So for all of us here at the Facts Project, we will be looking forward to this project and be talking about it very soon.